What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait, I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the show. I try to get on here. I try to get on here. I tried. Welcome to the breakdown. Fuck the suit. Monday. Fuck the suit. Monday, March 30th, 12:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're back. Hope you guys had a great weekend. What the fuck, by the way, what the fuck is Meme Scope Monday? Like, can somebody tell me what Meme Scope Monday is? Is this like for the poors? Is this for the poors that are, it's like somebody going to the OTB and betting on horses? Is this what we're doing right now? Is this what we're doing? Anyway, I had to tell Landy, man, at 12:30. Couldn't get on here. I had errands to run, but I couldn't get on here now. By the way, right after the show, I'm gonna not only order a cup, because I see now, I think it's maybe obnoxious me drinking like straight out the bottle. Okay, I think it might be obnoxious. It might be coming off a little bit obnoxious. So I'm gonna order myself a little cup. Okay, I'm gonna take this, pour water into it, and I'm gonna sip. I'm gonna do the Donald Trump sipping. By the way, They say that when I'm not in a suit, I get more views. Look at the chest. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I really want to break down what's happening in the markets. By the way, Gokhshtein Media is coming back. We're probably a month or two away from really putting forth a great product for everybody. That's right. So yeah, I want to know what memes go. By the way, I didn't even mention. Shout out to Midnight. Midnight, the title sponsor of The Breakdown, episode 691. Charles, he's out there. And I saw him do a Spaces over the weekend. That's phenomenal. I don't know if he's back, but it's phenomenal. By the way, also doing big things with Midnight. Forget about them being the title sponsor. Midnight's doing big things. And next month, I'm going to talk about Midnight City. Because I think Midnight City, for Midnight, if it can be put together correctly, awesome onboarding tool. Because everybody likes playing games. I do. Also, shout out to Cake Wallet, one of the most secure wallets within the crypto industry. Vic, Seth, that team, they work. Vic's always working on social media. He doesn't even have to be on social media. He's on social media. This is what I'm talking about. Working founders. They're out there working. Also, shout out to Polymarket, the official prediction market sponsor of the David Gokhshtein personal brand, and also The Breakdown, the show The Breakdown. Well, we break down stuff, the markets, and all this good stuff. All right. Also, shout out to the People's Reserve. Why sell off your Bitcoin when you can use it as collateral towards getting a house? RWAs are going to be big, I'm telling you. RWAs are going to be big. People are sleeping on them, but it's going to be big. It's going to be big, man. All right. Imagine that. We got more people, and there's more things happening. I'm not going to talk about it. I feel like Trump when he says, like, there's more things happening. I'm not going to talk about it, and then he talks about it. But I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. All right, look. We got people blaming Jews in Israel for anything that happens in their lives. People are blaming Israel and Jews because, you know, here's one. When I don't have a job, I'm blaming Israel. Like, it's crazy. Some guy was on social media trying to go at it with me and rip me apart. I'm like, bro, you blame Israel for everything. Like, we can't even have a discussion. You blame Israel for your ED. What kind of discussion can we have? He's like, you can't criticize Israel. I criticize anybody. I criticize my mother. I don't know if you tuned in. I don't know if you ever tuned into one of my shows. I'll criticize my mom. My grandparents can get it. I don't care. Ain't nobody safe. I think Israel does a lot of great things. I think they do a lot of great things. Look, the thing came out where apparently, I don't know, I ain't confirmed it yet, but Israel won't put troops onto the ground in Iran. I don't agree with that. You came into this war with the United States of America, bring some troops in, even if it's 10. I get it. Israel's fighting a war on all sides. Fucking Lebanon and here, there. I get it. But the United States of America shouldn't. Listen, me and Landy might disagree right now when he comes on, but I don't agree with our military putting brutes on the ground, 3,500 to 5,000 people. No, I don't agree with it. I understand the end goal. I get it. I'm not stupid. I ain't brainwashed like a lot of you guys. But again, those are my opinions. So shut the fuck up. You've never tuned into my show at all. Dude said if something would happen in America, here's how stupid people are. If something would happen in America that I would run back to Israel, I wasn't born in Israel. They wouldn't even accept me. What are you talking about? I'm an American. I was born in America. Red, white, and blue run through these goddamn veins. I got nowhere to go. And also, that's like saying, I can't go to Russia or some European country? What are you talking about? We got a lot to talk about. Right? Hey, listen, they call me a Jew every day. And you know what's funny? When I reply to comments on social media, they're like, oh, look, the Steen's chiming in. That's right, bitch. I'm chiming in. You guys should be more worried about not passing the SAVE Act and having goddamn illegals voting in our elections, or potentially speculation. Sorry, TikTok, that's speculation. Then worried about all that other shit that's on here. Do you understand the word Israel now is a way for people to get engagement? Like, I can go right now onto Twitter and just bash Israel, and I will 20 times my engagement. That's all it is now. God damn it, I look like a genetic freak right now. Anyway, let's get to it. It's Monday. It's Monday. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about the markets. I'm ready to understand what the fuck meme scope is. What is meme scope? Is it really the gathering of the poors? The gathering of the poors who round-tripped all their profits? Is it like watching, is it like going to the OTB? Does anybody know what the OTB is? Is it like watching horses and betting on them? Is it playing slots? What are we doing out here? Landy, what's going on? Good morning to you, or good afternoon to you, or good morning to you.
Good morning from the west coast of somewhere. Forgive me as I spent this weekend, busy and then getting sick. So that's the best way to spend a weekend. But yeah, no, I mean, MemeScope is the best way to onboard new Bitcoiners, because you can go there and you can get wrecked, and then you can find your way to Bitcoin.
I just honestly, like, it's a good effort. Like, okay, I'll sit back and I'll say it's a good try. Listen, we had Pepe. I'll play devil's advocate. We had Pepe that was born in the absolute bear market. This ain't even. I think we're past that bear market. Landy might disagree, but I think we're past that bear market. Pepe was really born in a hellacious bear market. There was no liquidity. I mean, zero. I'm remembering everything. I think there was like absolutely zero liquidity. And all of a sudden, everybody rallied around Pepe. So could we have something come out of Meme Scope Day? Whatever this is so, I want to use other words, but I'm holding back. This is crazy. I really feel like everybody's gathering at, like, Atlantic City. They're going to, I don't know what casinos are out there. What, Harrah's? Am I right? Harrah's, or what's out there? I don't know. The Taj Mahal, is that still a thing?
I mean, not really. I mean,
okay, I don't fucking.
Atlantic City is not what it used to be. MemeScope is not what it used to be. I mean, look, somebody said, I'm up.
I don't understand what you're talking about, though. Great. What is memes? What is MemeScope? Was a thing? It's an annual thing?
Isn't that like, no, isn't that like just a Proton thing?
No. Is it?
I thought it was. I thought it was for new pairs.
Hold on. I thought today, I swear on my life, Landy, I thought today, all the trenching crackheads, I thought they just said, hey, we're going to make up this meme scoping thing, and we'll all come together, and we're going to try to... I didn't know it was a Photon thing.
Yeah, Photon. Sorry, I said Proton. I thought it was Photon.
Really? Then I've lost my mind.
Unless they've now turned it into something else.
I thought it was a bunch of degenerates that
Well,
have
I mean,
lost
it is.
absolutely everything. It is, right? Well, that it is. Okay, so with that we can agree. It's a bunch of degenerates coming together like the Power Rangers. It's morphin time, right? And they're
Yeah, I
morphing
mean,
together into losing money.
it's if anything, it's it could be another. There's a million ways that it could go. It depends on what they're referencing, and I really haven't taken a look to see what's
Landon,
going
do you
on.
care about the degens in this space?
No, am I
Wow.
supposed to?
It talks about your character, bro.
No,
Says a
I
lot
mean,
about your
I
character.
look. I have friends that degen, but when you say the degens, typically to me, you're talking about the culture of contract spammers, and I do not care about contract spammers. It just doesn't because here's the thing. It's just annoying at some point. Like, I hope you make money. Good job. I have fun. Like, nothing again. Go make that money. Do your thing, whatever. But the constant spam under every single post for months and months and months and months on end um is just annoying. I mean, at a certain point, it's like, okay, like there's contracts that still go around groups and people having discussions about could this have some legs? Is that's cool, that's productive. Like, hey, maybe we can see if this has got a little bit of heat to it and check it out if it's picking up on socials or if it's actually got good wallet distribution and what the launch looks like and that kind of stuff to see if it has potential to catch like a short-term trade. But um like it I can make more money leverage trading majors than most people are ever gonna make in any of these contracts, right?
These are
So,
I
that's
mean,
just me. Unless you catch an early one that is gonna become a Pepe, and that's where, maybe starting to see some of this stuff come off, and I don't think that we've hit the final low of the bear market yet, but I've mentioned this before to you, is that I think that when Bitcoin does start to set its final low of the bear market and then come out the other side, I think memes will move with Bitcoin before and to a larger extent than the other majors because in general the majors will bottom out at around the same time as Bitcoin, right? Like
yeah.
it's just I don't think that we're going to
I
see
but I don't
the
think they
same
can
type
go
of stuff.
lower. Like Landy, I don't think memes can go lower at this point.
Oh,
Like
sure
they're
they
already,
can. You
but
can
they're
be down
down 90.
99% and go down another 99%. It's just
No,
a
no.
matter of
What I'm saying is they're already down 99.9%. So I mean, if you want to just say like they'll be down like a complete 100, I mean, like I feel
I
you, but
mean,
like there's nowhere else to go for them. I mean, like it's just
something
done.
something can go from, uh, you know, uh, $1 billion down to, 100
No, no, I'm
million
not.
and still go down to a
Yeah,
million. So
I,
it's
I
like,
agree with. I agree with that. Well, what I'm saying, like it's already like that market. I mean, I can go ahead and look, but the me what it used to be like 250. I'm thinking
mhm,
it's kind of like 20 million at this point in terms of market cap, or it feels that way. So I
yeah.
believe though, here's Landy. Let me just say it because you're a hardcore, you're a closet Bitcoin maxi. Whatever you say, it's I don't
Oh,
believe you
I
no
don't
more.
think it's me being a closet Bitcoin
You
maxi at
are.
this point.
You are. It's okay. It's okay. Landy, me and you are still friends, man. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
Okay
I
to come
mean,
out the closet.
it
Um,
look, memes, they have their place and they're great for onboarding to Bitcoin. That's where we agree.
Landy, can I say something? You said this one time on Spaces. I'm gonna
Yeah.
repeat your words. You said, I believe you said that memes are like what Bitcoin was, a motherfucking middle finger to the elite. You said this. I remember this.
In terms
And
of
hold on, let me
mentality.
clarify. You didn't
Yes.
compare,
No.
literally compare memes to Bitcoin. All I'm saying is you said, and I'm paraphrasing there, you said something to that extent on a
Definitely
space.
paraphrasing. Yeah. Well,
But it's for the younger generation to go ahead and point the middle finger at the system. Which then when they come in here, they'll go to Bitcoin. But That's
In the
proven
context
though.
of but in the context of the choke point operations, right? And
Yeah.
specifically in reference to choke point 2.0, which was trying to essentially claim that every cryptocurrency was a security. Memes in that way were a giant middle finger to the system in this specific way, in that no promise of returns, no promise of utility, no team, and like all that kind of stuff was a shot across the bow at the regulators, basically saying, come try to deem us, you know, come try to deem us a security. It's literally we're not. And it was a way to get around that fact, that the regulators were trying to box everything in cryptocurrencies to be securities, with the exception of course, Bitcoin at the time. Um, and the in that sense, very much like the early days and launch of Bitcoin and the cypherpunk movement was kind of a middle finger to the banking system, the regulators, and Wall Street of we'll just create and use our own money, right? So, and that kind of an ethos it is pervasive throughout crypto as well. And where I do think that memes are going to be important is, like you said, in onboarding people, introducing people, because it's look, it is gambling at the end of the day for most retail that gets into it, because they're not even going to do their research on.
They got me, bro.
Oh my god.
They got me.
That's really funny.
They got me, bro. I'm the final boss, I mean, in like a Austin Powers movie, bro. Like they got me. Yeah, I was just, you know what it is? I was scrolling to show you something about Gavin Newsom and JD Vance,
Yeah. Yeah, the
and this
poly
came
market.
out.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wow. It's because they're getting on me because I started the show off saying that they're poor, right?
Mhm.
And this is what I got. They said pores.
That's funny. Um,
Wow. I'm with JD Vance now. I'm in the JD Vance category now, right?
oh man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. A a fat David Gokhshtein is kind of hilarious. That is pretty
Could you
hilarious.
imagine?
I don't have to imagine. They made the picture for us.
That's wild. I
Oh
don't
my
even I got like 9 necks.
It's great. That's
They're
a pretty good, what is that, Johnny? That's a pretty good
Yeah, shout out to
pretty
John.
good
Let
takedown.
me give Johnny a comment. That's you don't everybody gets so angry about being memed, but like that's you should take it as a compliment when you get memed. Like that means you've done something. Like no, I'm being serious. I'm not trying
Mhm.
to be cocky on it, but like when somebody memes you, that means like you got some sort of brand. So like that's funny. This is you should like laugh. Like JD Vance's memes are funny. Like when they come out with those JD Vance memes of him going to Iran and taking out the Ayatollah and shit. Like that shit is funny. Like that's funny,
I agree.
right?
Oh,
Like have
look,
some
I mean,
fun.
we as, well, American culture especially, but realistically, most of the world enjoys making light of a lot of situations, and just poking fun at others and making memes out of things and people. So,
I- I'm never fat shaming anybody again.
yeah, I don't think you can now that
That
that's
is
out there.
that's
That's gonna
terrible.
become canon at some point. That's gonna be on your Wikipedia article. That's gonna be everywhere.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I think that meme can send though. Fat David.
Fat David. You just put a crown on it, Fat King David.
Um,
Um,
no, I got to tell you, and we'll get to the markets and stuff. But obviously, me and you talk politically and stuff, or we talk politics and shit.
Yeah.
like I'm watching a lot of this stuff. Mainstream media is doing a terrible job. I already see who gets paid and who doesn't. Kind of like watching on social media, especially yesterday, since I was working on a few things, and I specifically had to watch social media, and I'm
Yeah.
watching, and I'm like, holy shit, there are a lot of people that I know here that I've seen that I know how they speak. Their and their entire language, the vocabulary has changed. The their mission statements changed. They flip the
Nonsense.
script now. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it to where like I don't get thrown off of TikTok. Like they really flip the script. I
Yeah.
know they're getting paid by Qatar or somebody to go ahead and talk because it doesn't even sound, you know what it is? You know, when you're listening to somebody speak, it doesn't sound authentic. Like they're saying things, it doesn't even fit them because you've watched
Yeah.
them long enough to know like they don't speak that way. And even if like somebody hurt them, they will react differently or they would say things differently. I know 100% these people are getting paid to, number one, push, some sort of agenda here, uh, you know, whether it's against JD Vance, whether it's against Trump or the administration, uh, put a wedge between Rubio and JD Vance. Like all these things are happening in real time. They really are happening. They are 100% happening. Like this is not tinfoil hat stuff. This is not me appearing on Alex Jones Infowars and just respectfully to Alex Jones. This is not because he's called a few things that have come true, but this is not real tinfoil hat shit. Like this is watching people in real time, and you're watching how social media now is being programmed. So it used to mean mainstream media, right, Landy? Now it's
Mhm.
social media is being programmed,
Yeah.
really programmed towards throwing this agenda out there and having people believe in it. So it's kind of like with Israel. Like I mean, at this point, when people say things about Israel, I mean, like, bro's complaining he don't got a job because of Israel. I mean, at this point, it's already like, bro, like you can criticize Israel or any other country for that matter, but at some point, you got to put the brakes on and say, like, hold up, bro. Like, Israel is not. Israel did not cause me to not graduate high school. Like, it's at some point you got to put the brakes on. Like, you get where I'm going with this? Fine, you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and Jews run the world. Like what? Most Jews, like 90% of Jews they're not even middle class. They're day by day. So like the whole Jews run the world shit is like, I guess it's nice. It's a compliment when a lot of Jews really don't. So, but
Well,
I didn't mean to go
there,
right or left here.
there's a lot of psychological operations that are all running concurrently right now to turn, nation state the nation state populace, especially of the United States, against action either way. So, like, it's one of those things of like, with what's going on in the Middle East, the narrative very quickly shifted from Taco not going to take care of this regime that cracked down very violently on the protests in Iran earlier this year to, oh my God, we can't be doing this, and now anything that comes out of the IRGC is being picked up by Western media and shouted from the rooftops as if it's true. And, I think CENTCOM has done a very good job of pushing back on a lot of that. But you can see that once that starts to, run its course, then it starts to shift to other things, right? And you can see how the narrative shaping is beginning to happen. And you can directly trace it back. There's people that do this all over the place. You can directly trace back the funding paths for these different, whether it be influencers or media organizations that are quote unquote independent, right back to some of the same players that are some of the biggest funders of mainstream media propaganda. And it's not it's there is a really well-oiled propaganda machine that is very anti-American and very anti-Israel. And it's it's got much more backing and much more money than the other side of that coin, right? And this is where, it is very, very apparent that, and look, I don't think that people aren't allowed to change their minds about how they feel about certain things. I think that everyone is able to change their mind as long as they can um, articulate what changed their mind. It's like when I'm looking at charts and I talk about where price could potentially be headed next, I give an invalidation, right? This thesis is invalid, above this price level or below this price level. If price is headed up, here's my invalidation to the downside. If price is headed down, here's my invalidation of continuation if it trades back above, this price point to the upside, right? So what we have is a lot of people who have completely flipped on their narratives and are adopting a very anti-West point of view that seems very coordinated and no explanation given for the shift in their narratives or the way that they present them. And quite frankly, that is going to run its course. That will end. And I told you, we're 4 to 6 weeks. We're probably in that 4-week time period, maybe a little bit more. So, we're kind of in that 4 to 6 weeks until I think things are probably going to start settling down in that region. And you're going to see the narrative shaped in a very different direction. You're going to start seeing it shaping before things actually start to change there, right? And there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of twisting of facts. There's a lot of just patently false things that are being said all over the place regarding what's happening. But that's not anything new. It just hits these fever pitches when you have so much money injected into steering a narrative against something. And realistically, if it's against the Trump administration, it doesn't matter what it is. You could see people that were clearly for some things that are now patently against them just because Trump is doing it or the administration is doing it, completely shifting every goal, every moral ideal they've ever had prior. It just kind of shifts with the wind, as long as it is against Trump and it can paint that the administration in a negative sense. And realistically, the anti-Israel stuff has been going on for quite a long time. It really started. It started to hit speed around Ukraine when most people attribute it to the Israel and Palestine conflict, right? But it actually started to really pick up as Ukraine and Russia were going to war. So it's really interesting. It's called priming in psychological operations. And most people are familiar with priming these days, especially if you're watching this or you've been online for any length of time paying attention to what's going on. But you can see that there's already the seeds of other narratives being primed right now for the next big shift. And realistically, a lot of stuff goes by the wayside of what's factually happening. And it's purposefully put out there, even if it's false and it gets picked up, it steers away from goals and objectives of, one side or the other. And there's propaganda on all sides right now. It's flying all over the place. So it makes it very hard for people to discern what is true and what is not when they are trying to find out what the facts are.
For sure. Episode 691, The Breakdown, sponsored by Midnight, Polymarket, Cake Wallet, People's Reserve. We'll be right back after this commercial break to talk about the markets.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Back, and also one of our other partners here, People's Reserve. People's Reserve was built on a simple idea. You shouldn't have to choose between saving your money and using it. Traditional finance forces the trade-off. People's Reserve changes that. By using Bitcoin as collateral, you can unlock liquidity while keeping your long-term savings intact. It's a smarter way to put your money to work in a sound money system. So shout out to the People's Reserve. Welcome back to the breakdown, episode 691. Joined here by Landy. Landy was talking about lingerie. So let's get right to it. Are we going to talk about the markets, Land?
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of wrap that last thought real quick with be careful out there just seizing on the first thing that you see. There's a lot of hyperbolic takes about what's happening. The fog of war is real. And at the end of the day, you can actually look to other places to verify information other than that post that you just ran across. You should probably do a little bit of research about that topic and don't just trust one person's point of view. But try to, if you really are truth seeking, that you really should dig in. If you're going to, especially start to comment on these things and interact with others about it, you want to come from a position of having the knowledge and doing the research. There's a lot right now that you're going to see that is just patently false information out there, and it's being pushed by some of the largest people on the on different platforms. So, it too shall pass, though, and markets are a really good way of looking to see where money's going, especially considering that a lot of the talk is about a small portion of the world and its waterway that over the weekend got coined the Strait of Hormuz or the Strait of Trump, which was pretty interesting. And I think that there's a lot of actual hidden messaging there that many people poo-poo until it starts to become something that has occurred already and has been a pattern with this particular administration, whether you like them or not. So as it relates to markets, though, last week I talked about Bitcoin, any kind of failure to get back above 72 and start running that 74 to 76 high that it put in above this tighter range. that, in general, I'd be looking back to, especially if we traded and started to close anywhere below 68 to 69K, probably looking down to 65, bottom side of the range here. And we did actually hit that over the weekend, which is kind of the primary support area between around $65,000, which was the first high put in 2021, to the daily higher low area around 62 and a half. Now, this is still a viable area, this entire area here between 65 and 62 and a half for Bitcoin. As long as this is still in a downtrend, that changes back above around 72 to 72.2. That's where the daily downtrend would break. Otherwise, I would be looking for continuation to test this area, even if we see a nice pop up to around the $70,000 area to that 72.2. If we don't see a break above, the downside and lower is still the main target area. If we do start to see below 65, that would be expansion into support, kind of right to that 62 and a half area, right around the daily close open lows. And if that is lost, I'm looking 58 to 60 and then mid to low 50s from there if that does break down on expansion for the daily here. Back above the 72, I'd be looking, 74 to 76, and then back up to 78 to 80 for a direct retest of that major area that was, providing for the hope at the time if the bulls could pull out a higher low in a higher term time frame for another higher low on the monthly. But of course, that area did break down, and we headed right to some of the zones that we had previously talked about around here, hitting that 58 to 60 area directly. And now it's all about, you know, do we get further down to test a leg lower? I think that we do have a final capitulation leg in the tank here that's loading up. We did get a lower high on the weekly, and that lower high is now $76,000. So the one thing that would change, and this is what's going to be a little bit different about what I've talked about before, is the last lower high was up at $98,000 on Bitcoin here. Now we have a lower high at 76. So if we do see that break, that would be a character change on a weekly time frame for Bitcoin, which could potentially lead to some further upside. Still not totally sold on that. Um, right now, with a lower high in place, we can see that 58 to 60 is kind of the play to the downside, as long as we are still in this downtrending structure. If we did break above on a weekly and close above $76,000, more importantly, it's close above, not just break above, to test further up towards the 78 to 80 around this basis band, which is a 20 simple. I would be looking for any kind of a close above to be a downtrend break, and then we can set the conditions or have the conditions laid out on our charts that it's really all about this low. Then if we do break and close above $76,000, then it's all about, okay, we have a trend break. Can we hold this 60K to around 65 to 66 on a closing basis for a higher low or equal low structure to then start to try to change the trend? Not totally sold on that occurring right from here right now, but it is something that I'm going to be tracking over the coming weeks. It's either going to be continuation to test lower, or if we get a low set and then try to break $76,000. The other thing that I talked about with you last week quite extensively, and I've been talking about everywhere that I go, is keep an eye on oil as it relates to Dixie, in particular for oil. This is CFD's WTI. So this is essentially tracking United States oil. It's not. It is not going to look the same as what we're seeing in Brent or in Dubai oil. We have a fractured market where U.S. oil is remaining lower in terms of its price point per barrel of crude than Europe and Dubai. Now, this is something that many people that maybe weren't familiar with are wondering, why is this happening? It's because the United States is the number one producer of oil and liquefied natural gas. and we're likely going to see some more deals done. I know there was some announced today for liquefied natural gas, but we're going to probably see more deals done like what we saw out of Japan, with Japan going and getting oil from Alaska. We're probably going to see some more crude deals done, and we're probably going to see some more liquefied natural gas deals done. Now, the higher the price goes for oil, the more pressure that's going to be putting on markets to the downside, as the trade is going to be, while oil is pushing higher, the trade would be, looking to roll into dollars to buy oil. And when you see that oil is moving back above, I mentioned last week that if it breaks down below this low at 85 dollars or 84 bucks a barrel for WTI, that we could potentially see things go significantly lower into the 70 to 80, and then down to the $75 region. But if we saw it breaking back into this 90 to 95 region, be very aware of 98 to the 102 and a half here. Anywhere above there, I'm looking 102 and a half to 105. That is now the play, up to 105. Anywhere above there, I'm looking 110 to 115 by a macro overhead resistance. And then anywhere there, I'm looking to the highs again and potentially higher to around 130. So the conditions are very clear. Back above 105, I'd be looking for expansion into 110 to 115. That would be a macro area of overhead resistance from 22. And that area is a big area between 115 and 130. If it did substantially break out above there for WTI, I'd be looking 140 to 150. This is going to mean much higher prices for Brent and Dubai crude. But more importantly is, if we continue to see strength in oil's price to the upside, keep an eye on Dixie, because Dixie is the US dollar paired against a basket of other currencies. But it's right in a very important area between 99, 60, 50 to 60 to 140 cents here. If we do see this crack above and close above, we've already ran the high from the prior weeks here at $100.54. I would start to look to 101 to 102 and potentially even further up for the dollar strengthening into some of the next big areas around 103. This is actually going to be something to pay close attention to, because if we continue to see strength in oil, we will continue to see strength in the dollar. And that will be applying further downside pressures to traditional markets. And I think that will bleed over into cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the majors. The other thing to watch is bonds. Now, we do have a nice buyback on bonds right now to start the week, but I'm going to be straight up with you. You gotta I would really just be watching US oil and WTI in particular as it relates to Dixie, because that's going to tell us a lot. You can look to bonds to see where the money's moving, who's pulling money. You could look to USD, JPY. You can look other places in currencies to kind of see where things are going. But if you want to keep it simple, if oil's headed up and Dixie's gaining strength, you're going to see traditional markets start to turn red. For Dow, we did hit a major weekly level below one of the key points of interest that I had on the charts here at 45 and a half to 46,250 or so. We came down to the next level last week on Friday and tapped 45K even. This is an area of interest between 44 and a half to 45K. If it does drop out, we're looking 44K down to, the mid to low 43s, between 43,350 and around 43.6. That's a substantial drop, and a really big move. Same for 23K to the downside for NASDAQ. Anywhere below there, looking mid 22s, needs to reclaim 23.7 to 8 to even have a chance. Last lower high still in the daily here for like NASDAQ is at 24,465. So basically 24 and a half needs to be beat to even break the downtrend. For Dow, that is going to be 46.7, 46.8, right around a basis band, which is a 20 simple. So it's a strong trend down. We've got the same for SPY, obviously. And the next big area is going to be around 627, 628 to that 630, 3 to 35 area. We've essentially already hit that area, but I'd be looking here again for a retest anywhere below there. We're looking essentially 620 and then down to a shorter term support between 614 and 616 before headed for 600 points even. Last lower high is at 662, and the only way that it's even got a chance is on a weekly recovery of 47 to 650, and then starting to work its way out the top side. I would say above 660 to go test that 662 lower high. So markets are in a strong downtrend. If they continue to head down, we'll continue to see VIX, or the volatility index, plumb above the 30 read. And this is where, the longer that it's above here and the higher it goes, the more bids you'll find in markets. But I'm looking at, if markets continue down, we could see upper 500s for SPY all the way down to 550, is where we would see a doubling in VIX, I think. And that would be your Six Sigma event. And those are ones you don't want to pass up. Last time we had one, of course, was in 2025, Q1 to Q2, around the same time frame. I don't know if we're going to get there. We don't have the same kind of setup. There is a lot of local supports for traditional markets, but just as a comparison, this was a break of the 25 move down. So this is a much bigger move down without becoming a Six Sigma event. And I would say that this move down is not it's a much bigger first leg down, if I remember correctly. Sorry, you have to zoom out. So this one was, maybe it's about the same, actually. I might be wrong on this one. This was about a 10% move down. I think we're a little over that for the initial move down off the highs. So we got to take it from the high. No, it's actually a little less. So I was wrong. So if we are going to see it turn into a Six Sigma event, this would be the area that we would see it from. So I guess that is, the dream is still alive for catching some of the actual move down. You can see how this slammed down, broke the trend, lower high, and then the big move down. Well, we get slammed down. We broke some of the prevailing uptrend near the highs here, and now it's all about, can it move down even further to create a Six Sigma event? That's what I would like to see. I don't know if we're necessarily going to see that, but it's going to be about the next major bounces, especially on longer term timeframes like a weekly. Then we could potentially see that Six Sigma event where we get VIX racing above the 30 read to Six Sigma territory, in the 45 and above, which, we've seen a few times. We saw it in 24, late 24, and we saw it in 25. Are we looking for another one now? I would say in general, yes, if we do see like 600 points dropped on SPY, which, would be an aggressive move down. But what you'd likely see coincide with that is a large spike up in oil, US oil in particular. And I would say, if we start seeing a Six Sigma event in traditional markets, we're likely looking at this zone being tested and then even taken out to the upside between 115 and 130. But realistically, if we start to see this back below 90 to 95, just pay attention to the higher low at 84 to 85, because if it starts to head that way and break down from this uptrending structure, we're going to see oil prices correct very hard back to some of the downside supports, mid 70s and under to the upper 60s. So that's really what I'm watching right now. How does this fit into cryptocurrencies? Well, the more pressure that we have applied down to traditional markets, the more likely that any kind of upside move here, even if it starts to get rolling in a trend break fashion, starts to get blunted by markets globally bleeding. So that is really what I'd be paying attention to outside of like Bitcoin or your favorite, um, you know, high cap or mega cap um, in cryptocurrencies. Even some of the lower caps, you can get runners that run against this stuff, but they're going to be shorter lived in an environment that is downtrending. So I would just keep a close eye. Bitcoin, good vector for seeing general direction of cryptocurrency markets. Keep an eye on oil and Dixie. Oil headed up, Dixie's going to head up. Markets are typically going to be headed to the downside. If oil corrects, Dixie will correct. Markets will get their bounce, but they're still in very strong downtrend. So just be careful of those bounces. And even for Bitcoin today, I know I see a lot of people are like, see, the lows in, hit 65K. That doesn't mean that the low's in, but it does mean that we're getting a nice little bounce on a Sunday evening into a Monday morning for most, as Bitcoin does open at 0 UTC. So you got the open yesterday at 8 p.m. Eastern for those of us in the US, and that would be 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when the market actually opened. So it opened on a Sunday, but we had pre-market and futures open as well for traditional markets. We got a nice little bit off of this, but if it's still pressure down and we don't see substantial bounces in markets from here, which means oil's probably got to come down, at least for the United States. And if you see oil going in the complete opposite direction of Brent and Dubai, then something fundamentally is shifting. So this is where I'm going to leave things. Something that I would be watching for, and this is going to be very interesting considering some of the news that I'm paying attention to that is market and shipping related. If we start to see WTI, for instance, correct back down and start to break into a downtrend and trend in the opposite direction of, let's say, Brent here, which has some of the same overhead targets, although it's catching a premium over WTI. Same general area, 115 to all the way up to 138, 140 for its potential upside zone of interest over here. But if we were to see something, and this is going to be something to monitor, not saying this is going to happen, but something where we do see, a spike up to overhead resistance, or maybe it just puts in some sort of a lower high swing relative to the 120 area and then comes back down and breaks the trend. And we don't see the same happen in Brent, and we don't see the same happen in Dubai oil, then there's a fundamental shift happening. I would look right to the bond markets globally, US bond markets, Japanese bond markets. I would look to Asian markets and then European markets to see where is the money headed, and make the comparison and contrast if you have the knowledge to do so. So that's my tip for those that are pretty well versed in that stuff. Otherwise, just watch oil. Goes up, generally not good.
Highest gas prices California has seen so far. Gas price, they have the highest price gas prices, gas prices.
Which is interesting, right? Because we saw back in 2022 the gas prices were insane in California, but they're higher now at lower prices than they were back here. Why? Well, because taxes and shipping of refined product has slowed down a lot here. We have new taxes being introduced, I think next month in California. That's where I live primarily. But it's all about taxes, and it's all about major refiners leaving California now. Although there is going to be some offshore refineries or rigs getting back up and running by executive order, and there is some pressure being put on California to by the major gas companies here to really stop the direction that they're headed. Some of this stuff has already passed and is going to come into effect. Reversing that's going to be very difficult. And then a lot of companies leaving is going to force prices way, way higher. California could actually be one of the world's largest exporters of refined products, but they choose not to be in pursuit of a green agenda that has been failing California for a very long time. And where California typically is being modeled in terms of policy, we find that in this case, the Democrat Party likes to take those models and start to implement them in other states and then try to make that federal policy. And realistically, the world is finding out very quickly that you need oil, you need liquefied natural gas. And the Strait of Hormuz is proving that to European nations right now. It's proving that the single point of failure is unacceptable to countries like Japan, China, South Korea, because, you know, China's a net energy consumer. Therefore, they have to import energy, right? You have nations like Japan that are basically producing none of their own energy and need to
Yeah.
import energy. South Korea is the same way, right? You have a lot of European nations have, instead of pursuing energy policies that would allow them to have flexibility, buffer them from the global energy climate, have instead chosen to, pursue policy that killed their own energy sectors and had them overly reliant on single points of failure and nations that aren't necessarily friendly to them. This was a big deal when Ukraine Russia war started, right? Like energy for Europe was being supplied by Russia in large part, right? So this is where we're going to start to see a shift, and I think in the coming months it's going to be proven to be very, very. I think that this situation will prove to a lot of countries that they have to diversify. They have to secure the future for themselves, um, and their nations when it comes to energy. Like they have to change policy because if they don't change policy, they're going to be subject to these single points of failure that 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 are going to drive their economies and their populace into the ground over and over and over again. Now, there's some people I can see in some of these comments are already arguing that that's the whole purpose. Well, guess what? If their whole purpose was to move us in that and in that direction right now, what you're going to see is they're going to immediately and are already having discussions with the United States, Russia, China, and other nations like the Gulf states about what to do, right? And they are starting to come to the table to the biggest player in the game for oil and LNG, and that is the United States. For those that don't believe it, just give it a couple weeks. You're going to see more announcements. It's just starting. Even when the strait is open, when that does open back up, remember that part of the reason why it's being highlighted so much right now by even the Trump administration is that DFC and the U.S. Navy is right there in the Gulf of Oman and also on the other side of the strait, and they have to allow ships to pass as well. So for those that think that it's just Iran shutting down the strait, maybe just go and look at insurance policies, the buffer zone around the U.S. Navy, the fact that there is a MU there now, which is ships. This is more naval assets. Marines are part of the Navy. But they are their own thing, but they're on boats, right? So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to watch how this plays out. And this is the key that unlocks. And most people didn't realize that this was the key that unlocked last bear market as well. So, this is where we got to really just pay attention to where oil goes next. That's going to tell you a lot about what to expect in markets, not just here in the United States, by the way, but globally. So all of these systems are interconnected, right? And you might think that China is unaffected by what's happening, but no, they're completely affected. Like Cuba, a communist nation that is reliant on capitalist nations for their survival.
I just want to show everybody something real quick. Let me see if I can get this connected here. So Trump, for all those who hate Trump, right, and come up with these crazy ass theories and stuff, that he's owned by somebody, that Israel's telling Trump what to do and stuff. Here's a clip of Trump. This goes back. All right. This is a clip of Trump.
It's 1987.
Yeah. Thank you. You beat me to that. I'm going to play this. I want you guys to listen.
Because I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean
go
we
in,
take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're going to have a war. And it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations. And I mean grab it and keep it. And get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran. Because I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
Down.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are...
You know, at the end of the day, like, you can say whatever you want about Trump, but he's been talking about, whether it was on Oprah 40 years ago, whether it's this clip on
Before
Oprah,
Desert Storm, before GWAT.
he's been like, before he became president, he's been saying how the United States has been getting ripped off, and that, like, if he ever were president, yada yada, like, these are the things that he would do. So, like, you know, when people, again, and I'm gonna go back to the Israel thing and the Jews. When you say that, like, this is all coming from Israel and Bibi's commanding, no. Trump has been about this life he was 41 years old there. He's been about that life for a long time. For a long time. We've been getting ripped, and I say this all the time. We consistently are getting ripped off by other countries. Other countries are selling us their products. We're the biggest buyers of all this shit that they go ahead and build out. We buy all this shit, but we can't sell them our products. We got to go through certain policies, regulations, whatever. People are like, well, Europeans don't want an American car. Well, even you can't bring an American car in there. It's not affordable. What do you think? Some Europeans don't want to drive some. I know plenty of Europeans that want to drive a Mustang. They can. They'd rather get a BMW or a Mercedes. It's out of touch. It really is. There's this guy. I just saw this guy, Tone Capone, in here, bro. Okay. This dude, obviously a part of, Meme Scope, homeless, celebration month. He's coming in here saying, he was saying some shit about, so now he's ripping the U.S. What are you talking about? What are you talking? I can't. I'm going to lose my shit. Today's the day where I can lose my shit, and I'm going to lose my shit. Today's the day that I can.
Hold on for 1 second.
That I can.
Like the other thing that a lot of people.
You just hold on 1 second, Lander. You mentioned something about gas, right? And gas production. If California really wanted to, holy shit. Why do you think it's not happening? It's your fucking politicians.
Yes.
They're doing everything possible to make sure that America doesn't thrive. It's special interest.
Well, the US went through a very long period of offshoring everything production wise to other nations. We offshored energy to the Gulf states. We offshored production and manufacturing to China. We offshored the entire financial industry to London multiple times
It's crazy.
between New
It
York
is
and London.
wild. Wild.
And realistically, what is happening now, and this goes back all the way to the run up to the election in 2024. And that's where you can go back and listen to Scott Bessent before he was Treasury Secretary. But he was obviously angling for a nomination under Trump. If Trump won, which he of course did handily, um, Bessent talked about the monetary reordering. And part of that, and Trump talked a lot about, well, not just even this past election, he talked about, bombing Iran if they continue to pursue nuclear weapons. But he talked about it every election and many, many for decades prior about taking out the Iranian regime. But we are in the midst of a monetary reordering, right? Under the Biden administration, a lot of the policies that Trump had struck down regarding energy and monetary policy in his first term were re-implemented by the Biden administration, which would have continued the energy offshoring, production offshoring, and monetary hollowing out of the U.S. taxpayer base in favor of, the continued destruction of the dollar worldwide, right? You had BRICS going around and reaffirming a lot of commitments. And once the Trump administration came in, what did he do? The very first thing that he did was he lifted a bunch of policies that were restricting energy production here in the United States. We quickly became, without even new drilling, we quickly became the world's top oil and natural gas producer, like within months. And then he implemented um, uh, the tariffs, right? And all of that is about reshoring. A lot of people look purely at the tariffs and go, "Oh, we're going to be paying these high prices because of tariffs on everything that we import because China's the main manufacturer." Well, the reshoring of manufacturing has been happening. A lot of people don't want to look at the numbers. They want to deny it. They want to say that it's not real. And even to the point where people get into protracted arguments with me on X or in Spaces and other places the about the actual prices rising and how tariffs are causing prices to rise. We actually saw no price rises. We actually saw from December of 24 to December of 25 on import pricing. While some sectors rose, other sectors declined massively, which created price parity between December 24 in December of 25. We actually saw no real price rises. But what we saw was a narrative of price rising because of tariffs, because a lot of companies were front running the tariff implementation by bulking up on inventories and then marking them up as if they were being tariffed. Those now there are inventories running out where a lot of goods are being, we are seeing the tariffs being paid. So we will see that happen. But what it did create was for a lot of manufacturing to start to come back into, especially places on the East Coast and some in the Southwest of the United States, start to come back and actually start to produce here in the United States. Also, drug back a lot of future production through investment into manufacturing facilities here in the United States and unleashing energy here in the United States. And then while going after Venezuela and taking out Maduro and now doing deals with them regarding oil there, you can see that we're seeing the United States reshape the global monetary and energy policy, which where that goes, everything goes, right? And this is in an effort to, in my opinion, bring strength back to the dollar, and bring energy control back to the United States. This is something interesting that a lot of people don't understand is the United States protects the United States Navy, especially and through the United States military protects global shipping lanes for Western nations, right? When you hear about sanctions on Russia and Iran, that's cutting them out of the Western system, out of the dollar system, right? In which energy has been settled. And we can see that even now, um, why are things being allowed? Why is there a tanker, Russian tanker that's being allowed by the United States and not being blockaded, unlike what many have claimed, but being allowed to go in and provide energy to Cuba? Well, it's not because the deals are being all done in rubles anymore. These deals are going to be done in the dollar again. You're going to see this kind of stuff continue to accelerate. And the United States um, policy is right now is, hey, if you want the straits open, because these energy prices, affect you, Europe, and you, Asian nations, um, how about you come take care of it? Because we don't really have an interest here anymore. We're already the number one producer of oil and liquefied natural gas in the world. And we're doing deals all over the place and we're expanding. So you come take care of this. You have more interest here than we do. And Trump has talked about getting out of the Middle East for a long time. I don't think that we will. In fact, I think that this is something now is starting to look like the administration's goals are to seize the energy production market in that area, whether it's via shipping lanes or via partnerships with other Gulf states. I think that once we start to see the Iran conflict wind down, however long that takes, I think that the United States has a high interest in what is happening in that area because the United States military is really the only military that can protect global shipping lanes, which is why I think you're going to see a lot of deals done with European nations regarding LNG and gas. You're going to see Putin come to the table. I mean, Iran aside, no one's paying attention to what's happening in between Russia and Ukraine. I mentioned this last week, but Ukraine has been targeting. Everybody's like, well, China doesn't need Iran. Okay, why don't they need Iran now when they needed literally Venezuela and Iran and a shadow fleet of Russian ships in order to trade outside of the sanctions in order to get cheaper oil? Now that need doesn't go away. No, right now China's in a very sticky situation because they have involution, which you can look that up from within, which is they're not doing well. And their economy's not doing well. And then you've got, oh, well, they can just import more from Russia. This helps Russia. Really? Because those overland pipes can only carry so much. And I don't see Russia expanding their overland pipes. And what is Ukraine doing? They're actively hitting energy on a consistent basis. And Ukraine has done some wild stuff when it comes to what they are doing and how they are fighting with Russia right now. But what have they've been getting deeper and deeper and deeper energy targets within Russia. So trust me, Russia's feeling the pain.
Yeah.
China's got to dip into reserves. And I think that you're going to see deals between the United States and Russia regarding Ukraine. It sounds as though Trump has still maintained that the obstacle to peace there, from his perspective, is the Ukrainian regime and Zelensky. And whether you agree with that position or not, really doesn't matter. That's the administration's position, is that he is being the obstacle to peace, and it's not Russia that's been the obstacle to peace. So I do think that there's some sort of a deal that's done there. I think that there's a deal done with Ukraine as well. I think that we will see Russia actually come back into the system by utilizing and having some sort of energy and mineral deals with the United States. I think this also is going to lead to bigger talks between the United States and China regarding energy policy, production, and relations in general. A lot of people are like, well, China could any day go and take out Taiwan. Really? Why didn't they start right off the bat then while we were busy? Huh?
They
Oh,
ain't gonna
that's
do shit. They
because
won't do
if they
shit.
go after Taiwan, what people don't seem to understand is it's not just the United States that has interest in Taiwan. Taiwan is like the Switzerland of chip manufacturing. What a lot of people don't understand about chip manufacturing is you've got Samsung makes their own products and makes their own chips, right? You've got other chip manufacturers, Intel makes their own products, makes their own chips, right? You only have one set of manufacturers, the biggest being TSMC in Taiwan, but they are the reason why this is the reason why Apple can use them and gets first run of their newest tech. When they upgrade, Apple gets first right of refusal to the newest, latest technology for the first year of chip production. Why is that? Because at one point, Apple used Samsung chips. And then what did Samsung do? They literally ripped off the iPhone, right? So what you had at that time was Taiwan then pivoted to becoming just a chip manufacturing. They are basically a white label chip manufacturing production hub for the entire world. Almost, what is it? Something like all of the high-end chips, almost 100% of the high-end chips that you have in mobile devices are coming out of Taiwan. Not Japan, not China, not Israel, not the United States, none of these other big manufacturing hubs. Taiwan. If China were to go after Taiwan, the entire world's going to react, not just the United States. The entire world relies on Taiwan right now, and that's the position that they've put
NATO might
themselves
get
in.
off their asses.
Well, yeah, but it's also
It's just-
they're 100 miles off the coast of China, right?
Yeah.
So how did they insulate themselves? They insulated themselves by having the entire world become their shield through manufacturing of advanced chips. So they're not going to do it. They've
China
been
won't do
threatened.
shit anyway, man. China ain't gonna do shit anyway. If they wanted to do if China could do something, they'd do something already. They can't do shit, man. Everybody gives them way too much credit. Like people inflate that ego over there, man. They can't do nothing. And
Yeah.
I'm serious about that. China can't do shit.
Well-
They can't. They don't have the manpower. I don't know why everybody thinks they have the manpower, but they don't. Do they
Well-
have high tech items? Yeah, they do. I
Well,
won't.
We
you
see
know.
how some of their military technology has worked out in Venezuela and Iran. Not
Yeah.
so great.
Not so
right?
great. Russia.
That
and-
makes other
That's
countries.
why when people say that like
nervous.
we should be scared of Russia, like no, you shouldn't be scared of Russia. Respectfully, I say that.
Well, you
'Cause
know
Russia-
why?
Russia's still driving tanks from the 1960s. Like I'm not scared of them.
Here's the reason why Russia, I think, is still from a military point of view. China's got numbers, right? And they have the ability to produce very quickly. The problem is their tech is generations behind, especially when it comes to military, than the United States.
Yeah.
But in Russia's entire military base is built out in a manner in which it can be scaled. So it's not necessarily going to be the highest tech, latest stuff. But what makes them, I think, a very big legitimate threat from a military point of view is they have experience.
Yeah,
They
do.
have robust experience. China doesn't have military experience. They have
Listen.
a little bit here and there, but they don't have real military experience.
This
like
might
North
go
Korea.
against the grain for everybody, but I'll say this: I'd want to have some sort of relationship with Russia. Like for real, I'm being serious. I mean, like, if it wasn't for let's not forget, if it wasn't for Russia, like we'd probably lose World War II. Germans are probably out here fucking dictating everything. I'm being dead serious. Hitler, the Nazis, they're dictating everything if it wasn't for the Russians. Respect to the United States of America. I love America. But without Russia chiming in, and Russia did a lot of the legwork. A lot. I'm
Yeah,
just saying, I'd rather have good relationships with Russia. I'd
I
rather.
mean, I would rather we have good relationships with all nations, but quite frankly, the good relationships are cover for always hedging your position, right?
Of
So
course.
uh, look, I'm for having good relationships with Russia and China and a regime in Iran that is not out to literally take out not just the West but even their Gulf neighbors. Um, but that's not the world we live in. And until we get to that point where there are deals done that
Yeah.
have real repercussions, we're not going to see anything change. So, I think that I think that people will be surprised. I'm on the side of predicting that this particular conflict starts to wrap up much sooner than many expect. That doesn't mean that we won't still have operations in Iran or around Iran in various countries while smaller elements are being hunted down and rooted out. But I think the bulk of it will be finished here much quicker than many people expect. And I think Russia's going to be at the table to deal with ending the conflict in Ukraine. I think that comes probably shortly thereafter. Anything happening in Iran.
Big shout out to you, Landy. Thank you so much for joining our show today, breaking down the markets and giving your take on some of the shit that's happening here around the world. You'll be back here tomorrow. We'll go ahead and look at the markets again. But thank you. Appreciate you guys. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Landy does have his show recapping the markets at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tune in. You can go to X. You can find X, formerly known as Twitter, and you can go ahead and find them under @CryptoLandy. @CryptoLandy. Find them. Go ahead and sit back and get some value, man. Because I'm pretty sure you're not getting value anywhere else. I can see it with the way that you speak in the chats. Landy, thank you. The TA World Champ. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, David. I'll see you tomorrow.
That is Landy, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a follow. And tonight, tune into his show. Okay, tune into 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Landy breaks down the markets. He absolutely breaks down the markets. Tune in. You might learn something. You should learn something, but some of you guys don't have an attention span. So I'm just saying, tune in because Landy's always winning. There you go. I say nice things. I'm still trying to figure out what meme scope is. Now, are we talking about Photon or are we talking about what's happening today? What is absolutely happening today? I'd like to find out. I really would like to find out. I would like to find out what the fuck is going on. Wouldn't it be cool if we just really did send one fucking asset? Wouldn't it be fucking cool? Send one meme. One meme, everybody focus on just one meme. And I really gotta get we'll get a haircut today. Hopefully I can get in. Send one meme to Valhalla. What is this? Yo, by the way, I got to give a shout out to TikTok. TikTok has officially become home for me. It's officially become home. I don't know what's happening with Elon came out and said the algorithm is it working a day or two ago, I think. No, it's gone backwards. What fucking happened? What happened? Elon, what the fuck is going on with the algorithm? I was thinking about this. I want to get your thoughts. So I'm paying almost $2,000 a month to have a verified gold check mark. The Gokhshtein account and my account are legacy verified since Jack was running the shit. So I'm sitting back here and saying this. I love I love X. Meaning X, formerly known as Twitter. This is why you can't say X, because it sounds like you're talking about drugs. I love Twitter. I really do. I don't know why I'm paying 2 G's a month. Like, I just do not know why. And last night I'm sitting here, I'm like, you know, I am, besides being in crypto and in, you know, reporting on crypto and digital assets and hosting a show, having Gokhshtein Media, which is going to make a tremendous comeback in the next month or two, working hard behind the scenes. Why am I like, and I'm into AI now. Like, I really am into AI. Why am I wasting? I could take that $2,000 and I can put it towards everything that I'm building. I can bring maybe like 1 or 2 people on using $2,000. Why am I paying $2,000 for like, I feel shadow banned, even though like I do get viewership on Twitter and it's great, but like I feel like there's no reach. Like, unless now all of a sudden they're talking about like start talking to the Japanese side of Twitter. I don't want to do all these things. Like, I don't want to start playing in a gamified system. When Jack was here, we didn't need to write fucking articles and all this shit for bigger reach. And if you install the fucking image, no. People who had something to say under 280 characters, this shit was looked at. So should I take $2,000 that I'm paying Twitter per month? Should I take that $2,000 and just put it into AI, run up more AI agents? Like, I'm thinking that's the best way to go. And I have to decide today. I'm gonna probably decide today on that. I don't give a fuck about having a badge. The badge ain't doing nothing for me. What is a badge doing? I'm being serious. Like, honestly, I want Elon to win. I know there's a lot of haters. I think Elon has done a phenomenal job building businesses. Some won't agree with that now because Elon obviously supports Trump. He supports freedom of speech. And a lot of you guys hate the fact that he's out here supporting Trump. So I get where people don't like Elon. Whatever. That's your problem, not mine. I'm looking at this. Elon has built Tesla. Obviously, he's taken Tesla to new heights. SpaceX, phenomenal. You got the Boring Company, Neuralink. You got all this stuff. That he's done. I know that at Grokopedia, I can name all these things. You got to give him credit. Tip your hat to him. But I can't figure out why am I paying the 2 Gs. I could pay it forever. I don't really but why waste money here when I can take it and put it towards really kind of like building out the brand even more? To me, it's a waste of $2,000. It really is. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm wasting $2,000. And right now, TikTok is running the game. When it comes down to it, maybe a lot of I'm gonna say this. Twitter people like to sit back. I'm saying Twitter because I can't say X. A lot of people on Twitter sit back and they watch shows. Like, so they don't really interact. They're more so watching the show. The interactions that you can get, or you probably get more of, is if when you go on TikTok, when you go on YouTube, you go on more, I would say, visual channels, social media platforms. That's where you get more visibility. So, like, for me, I'm like, what's the benefit here? What is the benefit? Maybe I downgrade. Maybe I downgrade the fucking package today. Maybe I just keep the $200. Maybe I keep the $200 package where you get the gold symbol or the gold check mark stays on the main Gokhshtein account. At Gokhshtein, you guys can go ahead and follow it. At Gokhshtein, you can follow it. And that's it. Oh God, I don't need the goddamn badge. I'll buy the verified. It'll save me money. Check this out. $200 for the Gokhshtein account. It costs $50 a month, I think, for the verified check mark. Okay, I'll pay $50. That's $250. I just saved myself money. I can put that money every month into Bitcoin. I'll make more money putting my money into Bitcoin than having the goddamn verified check mark. I had a rant about that today. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. No, that's what I'm going to do. I think that's what I need to do. I can't justify paying $2,000 and like every day, either one day, like one day the algorithm is working for you, and then the next day it's not. It's just like I'm not staying up 24/7, posting 24/7, replying to, like, I'm not doing none of that stuff. It's not how a business owner should operate. That's fucking stupid. It's absolutely dumb. It's fucking dumb. And I almost feel like, respectfully, if you don't get retweeted by Elon, then you're fucked. You really are. And I'm not, I have a Tesla, but I'm not going to kiss. I see people kissing Elon's ass all the time because, hey, Elon, Tesla, this. No, that's. What are we doing? No. I had a rant about that. Anyway. What I do want to see, number one, again, I don't know what's happening today. Apparently, Monday was supposed to be a great day for the meme economy. Apparently, something about MemeScope. I don't know if they're talking about Photon or just. Can somebody confirm this shit for me? It's bothering me. Are they talking about Photon, where Photon has MemeScope as an option, or are they talking about like this is an event that's called MemeScope? Like, I need to figure that out. And apparently every single pour is coming together to try to send a meme or find the next runner. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, it's apparently that's what it is. That's what it is, apparently. You have, I did say it, like, I'd rather be, somebody just said it in the chat, I'd rather be, or I said it to Landy, I'd rather be friends with Russia. I think it benefits the United States of America to have a good relationship with Russia. There's things that they have that can benefit us and vice versa. It really is. Russia don't want to, let me tell you something. They do not want to be friends with China. They do not want to be friends with China. They don't. They have no other choice but to work with China. They have no choice because they are the sanctions and all. They got no other choice but to work with China. And China has, China's sneaky, man. China's buying up stuff in Russia. Russia hates it, but there is no other choice. They can't do nothing. They cannot do anything about it. Even if Putin wanted to do something about it, he can't. They got to stand with somebody. And they're choosing to stand with China. So China is sneaky, though. I've said this for a while. China tried to take over the world. Okay? They try to psyop everybody. Okay. Meanwhile, while we were watching TikTok and doom scrolling, watching a bunch of idiots do like idiotic things, China has been out there making deals with Venezuela. I must have said something because now I must have said something on TikTok that wasn't kosher. I can't win. You know what it is? I'm doing something right now which is going to elevate my brand. And that is, why am I using, I'm going to leave you with this thought. Why am I using everybody else's platform and promoting everybody else's platform? Why am I not promoting mine? And you'll understand what I mean by that in the next month or two, where people can come see me and I can use my products versus using everybody else's. Right? That makes sense. When you have a brand like this, why am I not using my own products? Why am I using somebody else's products? It makes no sense. And by using my own product, I won't have to face all these restrictions when I speak. I won't have to be so muffled, especially on TikTok. Like you can't even say a word. It's crazy. I have this brand, and that's what I'm doing. So, like, again, I can't wait to show it off. Changes have been made to the Gokhshtein account, at Gokhshtein on Twitter. Changes have been made. The direction we're going into is a good one. I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited again. I'm excited again. Next month we'll have a good amount of guests come on to go ahead and chop it up, whether it's about geopolitics, whether it's about politics or crypto and finance. Because I obviously love talking about all those subjects. I feel that I'm knowledgeable about all those subjects. I keep telling you, and we bring on Landy, for instance. Landy comes on here all the time talking about the markets, blessing you guys with the markets. I will not, and people have told me, Dave, you need to say some rage baiting things. I will not do it. I will not come on here and just for a quick 15 minutes boost my engagement by saying things I don't believe in. Like I can't do it. And you know, for people who have followed me, they wouldn't believe it either. Like they wouldn't. Imagine I came on here one day and I said, you know what? I'm done with the Republican Party. I'm a full-blown Democrat. I want Gavin Newsom to win. I want the Democrats to take over. And I'm out here just being a full-blown Democrat. You guys couldn't believe it. You'd be in shock. A lot of you guys would faint. I couldn't believe it. I'd faint. But if I'm telling you, if you know what would happen if I decided to say that I'm a Democrat? The DNC would contact me. A lot of fucking, PAC foundations would go ahead and contact me. They'd try to buy me. They try to send me a check. Hey, bro, like, good for you. I love the way that you're talking. Let's take it to the Republican Party. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it because not everything's about engagement, man. Not everything's about engagement. It's nice when it happens. It tells you that you're doing something nice with your brand, that your brand is working, that it's elevating to new heights. That's great, but I can't do it. People say that sometimes I come off like I'm rage baiting people. I don't. Like these are my actual opinions. I'm not like Megyn Kelly out here just saying things, contradicting herself every 6 months. I'm not doing that. I'm not Tucker. I'm not Tucker making believe that I'm friends with Trump and then, stabbing him in the back. I'm not Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to be out here talking about vote for Democrats. Obama was my favorite president. Like, I'm not going to say these things. I'm not. I refuse to. At the end of the day, people who know me know I'm like, yeah, I'm a Republican 100%. But I kind of feel like I am the type of person that can agree with a Democrat. Like I agree with some of the things that Senator Fetterman says. There are a lot of Democrats that I agree with. Look, what was his name? Representative Torres. During during the House meeting with Gary Genslinger, okay, our former SEC chair. When Richie, when Representative Richie went at him talking about NFTs and all that, I liked it. I don't think you should go way too right or way too left. Look what's happening. Like you have the radical left, which is real. Like I'm not just saying that because Trump says it. But you do have like the radical left. They are absolutely insane. Like if you wanted to win support, like with people that are stuck in the middle, trying to figure things, you can't because you're too radical. You're running on I hate Trump. And you know what? That probably maybe the Democrats win the midterms just based on them running on we hate Trump and look at the war in Iran. That's it. I've criticized Trump. Like I said, I like 90 to 95% of the things that Trump does, but I've criticized Trump from the standpoint of, yes, is the economy better? Yes, the economy's better. But you have to acknowledge people that are living in America that aren't doing well. You have to acknowledge that base. It's not to say that it's not to say Trump is the person that is affecting them from getting on their feet again. No, you just have to acknowledge there are people within this country right now that aren't doing so well. You can't say the economy's great and everybody's doing well. No, not everybody's doing well. So you see, I'm not crazy like some of you Democrats and Republicans. Like I call it for what it is. And right there, saying what I just said, some Republicans will be mad at me. I'll have my own base that'll be mad at me saying, David, how can you say that? Because it's the truth. Trump got to come out and acknowledge, you know what? We got some work to do over there. And that's fine. You know what? People would be like, okay, he sees me. He sees me. I think the way the questions are presented at times to Trump from mainstream media, number one, I don't think the conservatives present the question correctly. That's number one. Number two, the liberal side, they're looking to they antagonize him for him to go ahead and say something so they can go ahead and get a sensational clip. I just wish that and this is the thing, like with the Robert Mueller situation where he tweeted out good, I get that he was hunted out. I don't know how I would react if I was being put in a position that Trump was put in. I don't know how I would have reacted. But there's, again, 90% of the things I like the fact that we're bringing back, American companies are bringing back their factories and assembly lines to the United States of America, and they're investing into this country again. I like that. I like that part. I like the part that we did take back Venezuela. Because that's the truth. That's what we're doing. I like that. I like the fact that we're putting an end to the regime in Iran, or we put an end to, I don't know who the fuck's running that shit, but we're doing something out there that long-term will benefit the entire world. Yes, short-term, you're looking at this and you're like, I don't like this. Okay, fine. But long-term, it has positive effects for the United States of America. Do I want boots on the ground? Do I want to see the troops go in? No. I'm anti-war. I am not Lindsey Graham out here, bro. Like, Lindsey Graham is crazy. This man he seeks war with everybody. Lindsey Graham is like, hey, let's go to war with everybody. Like, this guy's crazy. Like, that is somebody who's absolutely lost his mind. But I also do agree with Trump when it comes to, and I've been screaming about this you can't we let in 15 to 20 million. And again, I'm hypothetically now saying this because of TikTok, because I must have said something just now that restricted my visibility again. But I don't want illegal, undocumented individuals coming into this country. They should wait their turn. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, because then we take on the burden for medical bills, resources going to undocumented individuals. Like, a lot goes towards them. Nothing goes towards the people that live here in the country, that were born here or stood in line to get in here legally and go through the process to become American citizens. It's not fair. It's not, yes, as individuals, me personally, I have a heart. I do care about human beings, but unfortunately, there's a process. There is a process that everybody has to go through. Nobody can just skip the line. Don't you guys get mad when you're waiting in line and somebody skips it? Well, this is the same situation. Somebody's just skipping the line. Meanwhile, you've been waiting 35 minutes. That's all. Crypto. Let's go right into crypto too. If you're into crypto, how are you? Like, this makes sense. The SEC is now pro-crypto. The CFTC is pro-crypto. Like, things are happening. The government has taken notice of crypto. And they're trying, I guess they're still trying to pass a bill. You got a president that's pro-crypto, and yeah, we're going to have the argument. The president's pro-crypto, but the only person that's making money is the president in crypto. Okay, you can go ahead and debate this all day long. No problem. No problem. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, Trump and his administration right now has done more good than bad. I don't know what can a Democrat run on. They're not even talking about it. This is what I've been hearing lately from AOC, from Bernie Sanders, from Senator Warren, who's anti-crypto again. And if you're in crypto and you have Senator Warren leading the charge, then you're fucked. She wants to. She can't wait to make an anti-crypto agenda here. If you're in crypto, and think about it as a Democrat, what are the Democrats running on? Like, what are they running on? We hate Trump. Okay. We had protesters protesting about no kings in America. Yeah, there are no kings. Thank you for clarifying that. You guys on a Saturday afternoon, where the country, in the United States of America, it was sunny. For most of the country, there was sun out here. You could have went outside. You could have went outside and enjoyed the day. For those individuals who actually work, you could have took your weekend and enjoyed it. You didn't. You went to protest. Most of you guys got paid 100% by Soros and company. But if you didn't get paid and you went to march, what do you march? No kings. What the fuck are you talking about? How brain dead are you? And then you have people in Europe. I seen clips of people in Europe, in fucking England. They're marching no kings. And they got a king. A country that's built on kings and queens. You're marching no. Are you fucking kidding me? And you're telling me that people aren't paid off? Come on, man. Come on. What are we fucking talking about? A bunch of people. That was delusional. When I seen that clip on Saturday of people marching in England saying no kings in support of America, what the fuck are you talking about? Have you heard of King Charles? It's wild. We live in a wild time. Like, I think I really do speak common sense. I voted for common sense. I really do believe I speak it. I speak the language. And you guys some of you guys get angry with me. I'm not against you. I just want you to open your eyes. Look what's happening. I'm telling you, before Trump ran for the Oval Office to become the president of the United States of America, most of the country loved him. They knew about him. They tuned into his show, The Apprentice. Like, I'm telling you, like, The View would bring him on. The same people that rip him apart, they loved him. He was in every rap song. As soon as he ran that's it. The elites, they knew. The elites knew, oh shit, we can't control this motherfucker. All of a sudden, overnight, Trump became bad. Ready? Forget about Trump then, because I know I'm going to get a pushback on that. Let's talk about Elon. As soon as Elon was loved by the Democrats, every liberal loved Elon. As soon as Elon, because you had Kamala Harris, you had a lot. As soon as Elon bought Twitter, and let's rewind. Here's Elon before the Twitter purchase. Here's Elon who builds out Tesla. We can all agree Tesla's ahead of the game when it comes to EVs. I don't care. Miss me with the bullshit about, oh, there are better interiors. These cars don't drive themselves, okay? They're nowhere close to FSD. They break down. Elon really did a great job with Tesla. You would think Joe Biden would have invited an American company, which is Tesla, to the EV summit at the White House or by the White House. He didn't. It was a spit in the face to Elon. You spit in the man's face. Even Kamala Harris said that we should have invited Elon to the EV summit. Play the tapes. It's out there. Kamala Harris said, we messed up by not inviting Elon to the EV summit. How do you not invite the person who is out there talking about EVs, building out EVs, a company on his last dime? How do you not invite him? How do you not invite him? Like, how do you not invite him? Like, it's wild. That's under a Democratic administration. How do you not invite him? And you guys are talking about going green. This is the same party that wanted to go green. Even if you didn't like Elon, right? Even if you didn't like Elon, if you're a Democrat, you invite him anyway, because now Elon really, how many Democrats have flipped over to the Republican side? Because the Democrats have gone too extreme, so being a Republican is kind of like being a Democrat. Or it's what it used to be. You get where I'm going with this, right? I'm fucking laughing. Being a Republican now is what it was, or what I think you can compare it to what it was like being a Democrat back in the day. So instead of being emotional, think about what's happening. Elon then purchases Twitter because of freedom of speech. Look, doctors, medical professionals who graduated from Yale, from Ivy League schools, institutions, some of the best medical schools on the planet, some of the best doctors who did not agree or had a different take on COVID and the vaccine, they were suspended without warning. Freedom of speech was essentially taken away, so only one side could talk and it wouldn't be misinformation. Just like, look, I'm on TikTok. Every single time I say something like this, it's put as misinformation when it's not. This is real information because Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, and the rest of the clan that was running Twitter, they testified in front of Congress. And they stated that the government put pressure on them to suspend accounts, to not allow medical professionals to speak on these topics and have a different take. When I would speak about COVID on Instagram, I would automatically have my video taken down and I would be put on a 7-day fucking probation. Twitter, under Jack Dorsey, I don't know how. I kind of got away with talking about COVID. I did get deboosted from time to time, but I was allowed to I kind of talked about it and I didn't get suspended, which is weird. How do you not? But this was all like, if you saw the people that weren't getting suspended, they're Democrats, liberals, and there's nothing wrong with being a liberal, by the way. There's nothing wrong with being a liberal or a Democrat, but mostly Democrats and liberals got to talk. The radical left got to talk. I'm just saying, man. I really don't. I don't watch Fox News the way you think I watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN the way you think I watch CNN. I watch some of these channels only to understand what's happening, gauging the pulse. So when I do my reporting, when I come onto this show, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have to watch these other networks. Do I want to watch mainstream media? No, but I have to in order to understand what's happening. What narrative are they pushing? Because I see the narratives. You refuse to see the narrative that they're pushing. I see it in 4K. I'm unplugged from the system. Something that I absolutely love Bitcoin for doing. Bitcoin helped me unplug from the centralized system, from the machine. And then COVID really made you see, like, holy shit, this is crazy. All this stuff that's happening right now, it's crazy. Somebody just in the chat right now in TikTok said, be careful talking about COVID. See, you can't even talk about it because they got the algorithm set up to go ahead and silence you. It's only like, let's say Twitter or Rumble or whoever, they'll allow you to talk about it. Otherwise, these other social media platforms will do everything possible to suppress your speech. The day that your freedom of speech is taken away from you, it's over. The day that they change the First Amendment in this country, it's over. That's where it was heading. And like, guys, seriously, don't look at me as a Republican. Don't look at me, don't fuck the party affiliation. Listen to me without judging me. Like, listen to me without judging me. For just 1 second, just listen to me without judging me. Biden wasn't our president. And what I mean by that is Biden was just there. Somebody or others were running the White House. And I think we can all agree with that. And I'm not just saying that because Trump said it with the auto pen. I'm just saying that it's the truth. There were other people running shit. Look at Biden's condition. As a human being, I felt bad for him. I'm watching a man, the man who is leading one of the greatest countries in the world, falling off of a bicycle sideways, hardly walking, falling down the stairs as he goes up into Air Force One. Like, you're watching this and you're like, does anybody else see this? And you have medical professionals that are coming out and they're like, he's showing signs. And God bless him. I know that he has cancer right now because he came out with that statement. I hope that he gets well. And I hope he beats it. You would never want to wish ill will on another human being. Like, you just don't want to do that. We can agree to disagree on certain topics, but you don't want to see somebody suffer. But he wasn't really the president. Shame on his wife for for really for Joe pushing him out there. Look what happened during the debate with Trump. Even Trump, I can analyze body language. Trump, it was awkward for him because he was like, this is not, who am I debating? Like, you remember Biden going into that rant, went into Medicaid, into I don't even know what the fuck he said. And when Trump said he doesn't even know, I don't even think he knows what he said. Like, I think the entire country agreed with that. There are people out there that are pushing an agenda. They want nothing more for our country, the people, and by the way, the people that live in this country, the American people that live in this country, they want nothing more for us to fight and for there to be chaos, for us to be divided. They don't want us to be united. They want us to be divided because that's how they can control the situation and the narratives. Like if we're united, then like they can't control us. So they have to do something. You have a lot of people, over 40 million people on the SNAP benefits program. That's bad. That's bad, but guess what? They control people by giving people money. So, of course, if somebody doesn't want to work and they're comfortable with their lives receiving a paycheck from the government, guess who they're going to vote for? They're going to vote for people that want to extend these kind of benefits and give them UBI and all. Person comes out right now and says, hey, I'm going to pass a bill to give out universal income. That person's getting voted for because we have a lot of people that are lazy. This is a lazy generation, by the way. This is one lazy ass generation. Nobody wants to work anymore. Look what's happening with AI. You guys want to talk about AI? Let me talk to you about AI because I've been not only obviously buying crypto, Bitcoin, whatever it is, but I've been learning AI. Every day I've been hitting the books, learning about AI, researching AI, talking to people that I talked to Landy yesterday, and we're talking about AI. Which platform are you using? These are the things like what am I going to use to build out certain things with? Half the people that went and ran to Apple to buy a Mac Mini, they don't have the Mac Mini anymore because they sold it after a week because they didn't find it beneficial to spin up an agent and have this agent create things for them. Because right now, when you spin up agents, honestly, I look at it like professionals, people that are building things, it does give you more time. Spinning up these AI agents will give you more time, allow you to be more productive. A lot of these people don't have jobs. So what are they going to do? And if they don't really have desire or motivation to build something, then the AI agent is going to get boring for them after a week. It's like getting a present. It's like getting a bicycle for your birthday. You ride the bicycle for a week and now it's just there. I'm telling you, and not even 1% of the world is in AI. Not even 1% of the world is using AI to its fullest potential. I'm seeing it. You have a bunch of AI influencers that are on social media now talking a good game about AI, but what have you built? I see so many people come out with these prompts, use this prompt and this and this will happen. Why aren't you using the prompts? What have you built? You're just trying to get engagement and you're trying to get sponsors to go ahead and sponsor the shit that you're putting out there in terms of material. Hey, you know what? I have nothing against that. Go ahead and be a creator that talks about AI. But you could be using AI to build a multi-million-dollar business or a multi-billion-dollar business. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Somebody just said, why work? Tax is way too high. Some people might agree. Why am I working and I'm paying so much in taxes? What's the benefit here? Maybe that's why a lot of people are just like, fuck it. I'm a laid back and I'm just going to get benefits from the government. I'm going to rely on the government. And you also can't look, the Democrats come out and every single day it's how can we, Bernie Sanders is out there saying, how can we tax the rich? The rich are already taxed at like 60%. How much more do you want to tax them? You're not incentivizing, in a capitalistic world, you're not incentivizing people to work. Why would anybody want to build anything if they're going to be taxed at 80%? It doesn't make sense to take on this type of opportunity. And by the way, the most effective thing for crypto, the most bullish thing for crypto is AI. And I'll say this again, the most bullish use case for cryptocurrency is AI. And you will see in 2 to 3 years that AI and crypto, super bullish. Now, where AI goes from here, they're already talking about like AGI is alive. Will AI completely take over? Will we have an iRobot situation? I don't know. And I don't know if we have safe rails here to hold back AI from, I mean, look, Elon's creating robots, right? Elon is creating robots. He said in 3 years that Optimus will be one of the best surgeons on the planet. That the robot itself will perform surgeries better than a human being. What's happening? So what all the people that went to medical school, who have done residency, who have dedicated their lives to being doctors, physicians, whatever label you want to place there, they're going to be out of a job? Because I'm telling you right now, let's say Elon puts chains on AI. And let's say maybe Claude does the same thing. Maybe Sam says, fuck it, no. There are no chains to AI. Boom. Here you go. Somebody is going to say, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to push AI to its ultimate limits. I don't think the conference that they had a couple of years ago, where all the big time players sat down at a table to try to figure out AI regulations, they had a good conversation, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Zero happened. And you guys should be very scared of Sam Altman. You guys should be very scared with OpenAI, man. I'm telling you, some of these movies are previews. Some of these movies out there are previews to what's to come. And I don't think people, it's just a movie. Remember self-driving cars? Oh, that'll never happen. We've watched movies where cars drive themselves. Oh, that'll never happen. Guess what? Teslas drive themselves now. What was that movie with the robot? Not iRobot, but back in the day, there was a movie. Fuck. There was a movie. Fuck. What's the movie's name? And the song, the theme song to that movie was, I'll be your hero. I'll be your hero till the end of the night. I need a hero. It was like, fuck, he was rebuilding himself. The robot was rebuilding himself in Radio Shack. Somebody help me here, man. Chad, help me. Oh my God. What was it? Shit, I gotta. Johnny 5. There you go. Thank you very much. Johnny 5. Remember what? As a kid, I watched that movie. And like everybody was saying, that's not possible. Well, look what Optimus is doing. The First Lady of the United States of America walked out with a goddamn robot. Short Circuit was the movie. Short Circuit. I need a hero. I just remember that song being played in that movie because the robot was saving motherfuckers. I really, and I say this to you guys, like I want you to look at me not as a Republican, but as a proud American citizen who does give a fuck about the country, and I care about people. I really do. Everybody who tunes in, I'm sure you're not a Republican. There are some Democrats, liberals, far lefties. Like, at the end of the day, I don't wish you harm, man. Like, I hope that you live a phenomenal life. I see a lot of people that are miserable because Trump is in office. Like, they wake up in sweats. And I feel bad for you. I think you need therapy. And I say that respectfully. I think that is a mental health issue. When you're so caught up, and these people don't, like, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something that again, my base might not like, but a lot of these people don't give a fuck about you. They don't know your name. They don't have your number. They don't give a fuck about you. They care about you when it's time to vote. And that's the truth. So why are you stressing out? Why are you stressing out over anybody? You're stressing out hardcore over individuals that don't recognize you until it's time for them to get reelected or get elected. You know, I've always looked at, I ran for office. I always looked at, you look at the situation, right? All these guys come out with promises. Like, think about it. Like, everybody comes out with all these crazy ass promises. They get elected, they go into the House or the Senate, and nothing gets done. It's just like, hey, I went ahead and presented a bill. For the last, how many of these representatives have presented bills? You've had people for 30 years present a bill. And nothing gets done. Nothing really gets done for the American people. Think about this. Like, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, they present bills, and what gets done? Nothing. Nothing really gets done. And you're not able to go ahead and sleep at night because Donald Trump's in office. Think about what I just said to you. Let me say this also, because maybe you don't understand how the branches work. But at the end of the day, the founding fathers set up a system to where, like, Trump can't do as he wishes, the way you guys put it out there. We need to start looking at our representatives that represent us in Congress and say, like, what the fuck have you done for us? I don't give a fuck if you don't like Trump. What have you done for us? What bills are you passing to help an American out here in the United States of America? What have you done? These are the questions that we should be asking. Do you really believe, if you have children, do you really believe your children should be going into school at 5 or 6 years old, learning about gender identity? Ask yourselves this question. Do you think that should be the curriculum that they're fucking learning? And that's not being a bigot. I'm just asking you a question. Do you think that is what a child should be going into school learning? No. Kids are supposed to be playing in the playground, on monkey bars, playing hide and go seek, learning mathematics, science, social studies. Like, these are the things that kids should be doing. Learning how to communicate, having an excellent vocabulary, learning how to care for a different human being with a different background, from a different race, with a different religion. These are the things that kids should be learning. Standing up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the just. Like, these are the things that kids should be doing. And kids should be kids. You got to let kids be kids. Their brains are not developed. Like, let them be kids. Let them have fun. Let them ride a bicycle. Let them fall off the bicycle. Let them get a scratch on their elbow or knees like I used to get. That's what kids should be doing. Not going, you have teenagers that are going into college and their professors are pushing gender onto them and fucking socialist fucking thoughts and all. Keep your political views to yourself. Kids, if a kid signed up for a financial class, they should not end up in a class where the professor is brainwashing them into hating certain individuals. And that has been happening. Look at Columbia. Look in NYU. Look at all these schools where the deans were out there in front of Congress admitting to pushing these kind of fucking agendas onto these kids and or knowing about these things being pushed and doing nothing. Harvard, and we're giving these people money? That's why the world's so fucked up right now. That's why, because you got the younger generation has been so brainwashed by the current system, by the current educational, but the educational system is so fucked right now. The Department of Education sucks because they're not teaching. You gave kids Common Core? Has anybody seen Common Core and what these kids had to go through? Common Core? Instead of making it, the old process was easy. You gave kids Common Core, you turned it into an SAT test for a fucking 7-year-old. And that was, and who won? The people who made these fucking books, not the kids. And then you ask yourselves, why are Americans, why is America the greatest nation in the world? Why are we so badly ranked in mathematics? It's the Common Core. Here's an example. You got kids thinking that 2 + 2 = 5. You got adults going on television. You have adults going on television. They're asking a simple question. 2 + 2 = 4. They're like, not necessarily. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening to this country? Not necessarily that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. It could equal 5. I heard this and I was like, yo, we have absolutely lost our minds, especially if we entertain this kind of thing. We went through a period where, God forbid, I didn't call somebody he or she. Well, hold on. He, what are the fucking pronouns? Because I didn't use them. He, him. He, him in fucking emails or on your LinkedIn profile. She, them, they, him. What the fuck are we talking about? To the point where it went so far that we had like 9,643 pronouns. People are wanting me to address them as a cat. I want you to address me as a cat. I'm a penguin. What the fuck are we talking about? We've lost our fucking minds. And then they got angry because Trump came into office and said, there's only two fucking pronouns. So everybody got mad at Trump for saying that. It's common sense. It's science. It's like, bro, man, I can't get pregnant. I don't got ovaries. I don't got a uterus, man. Like, I can't get fucking pregnant. I'm a dude. Come on. Like, come on. Like, one day, fucking find your skeleton. Scientists will be able to figure out whether it was a he or she very quickly. Parents weren't even consulted about their kids being taught about gender. If a child, we've gotten so crazy about gender that if a 4-year-old puts on, let's say a boy puts on a dress because he has a sister and he puts on a dress, all of a sudden, now we got the states, we got teachers examining, oh, he wants to transition. What the fuck are you talking about? The kid doesn't know any better. The kid hasn't even developed. And you got these parents that go, I've seen it on TikTok. They take their kid, oh my God, my kid at 18 months, he told us that he wants to transition. So we've started it. What is happening? This is not bigotry at all. If somebody, when they're 18 years old, when they're an adult, wants to transition, do whatever the fuck you want. It's your life. You want to love the same sex? Whatever you do in your personal life, that is your personal life. God bless you. Don't push it on to everybody else is the thing. Don't push it on to everybody else. You got kids being mutilated and then they regret it. But I'm not speaking as a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just speaking as an individual who lives in the United States of America, who has seen other countries laugh at what's happening here. Because it's all been pushed out here. The narrative was pushed out here to have this happen. They said they want less men in the trenches. Well, this is one of their psyops, to having less men in the trenches. Hollywood is like the biggest cancer in the world. I'm watching, and respectfully, I'm watching, you know what, I won't even name the people. But I'm watching some of these top tier celebrities. Their kids have transitioned at 5 to 6 years old. What are we talking about? At 5 to 6 years old, you're telling me a kid understands? No. Their frontal isn't even developed yet. Some of you guys haven't even developed your frontals and you're 40. You're 18 years old. You want to transition. It's your life. At that point, at 18, even though I still believe that it's too young, but you're 18, you've had 18 years to educate yourself on a lot of things. If you feel in your heart that you need to do something to change yourself, then it's your body. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Okay? If you feel better and more comfortable in your skin by being a he versus a she, then you do what you got to do. That's your life. Nobody can tell you otherwise. That's it. I mean, like, a lot of women wonder, and these are real topics. Like, look at the, like, I don't want to say, I was about to say something, but I know that my words will be taken out of context. 100%. But there's a reason why now men don't really come up to women. It's because of everything that has been done in the last decade or two. You have men that are cautious about going up to a woman, going out privately with a woman, getting married to a woman. What incentive does a man have to get married? Think about this. What incentive does a man have to get married if one day a woman wakes up and says, I don't want to be with you, takes 50% of your net worth? And if you have kids, she drags it out too. I'm taking 50 plus you're paying for the kids. I'm not saying that some women haven't contributed to men's success. I'm saying that our country, the mindset isn't about staying together. It's about, I'll stay with him for 10 years, and after 10 years, I get 50%. That's the fuck. So men don't have an incentive to actually get married. Like, men don't have an incentive. They're scared. I'm gonna give you 100% fact. Men are worried about getting married because the system is set up against them. This is not masculine toxicity. This is nothing. This is none of that. This is the truth. It's 100% the truth. Men, they don't want to go ahead and present a prenup. Most men don't want to present a prenup to the person that they love. They don't want to present it because that causes chaos. A woman who gets a prenup is going to be like, oh, so you're saying you don't love me? Now the guy feels fucking guilty. Like, nah, I'm just, in the future, if something were to happen, right? You would be able to take everything from me, right? And I'm like, let's say the man is already successful. He's like, I love you. I don't plan to leave you. But if you decide to leave me, you can take everything that I've earned. And that's not fair, right? How many men, how many sports players have now taken all their money and put it under their mothers or their fathers or their families, and they have nothing under their personal names? How many stories have you heard where, and again, this is not a shot against women. I don't want you to, I want you to realize this is not a shot against women. This is what society has done to brainwash individuals into doing. This has nothing to do with women. I think there are fantastic women out there. I think some women are suffering right now because men don't want to get into a relationship or get married because of these things. That's why I keep saying, you guys, you think this is masculine talk. This is real common sense talk. That's all it is. I'm just telling you from a position, I'm a male, I'm telling you, this is how males think. I hear it all the time from friends. This has nothing to do with belittling women either. 95% of my family members are women. The last thing that I would ever do is belittle a woman. I will beat the shit out of somebody if they put a hand on a woman. So this has nothing to do with that. This is just common sense. This is what I hear when I go out and I'm with my boys, and they're like, man, I really like this girl, but I don't know what's going to happen here. 3 decades ago, you're not getting that conversation. Nobody's scared of nobody's scared of anything. They're, oh my God, I can't wait to get married. I want to have kids. You can't do that now. I've known plenty of friends New York City, plenty of friends who have gotten divorced and they have gotten their asses handed to them. They really fell in love. They had kids and now they're paying for kids up the wazoo. They've had 50% of their shit. They are literally living paycheck to pay for crazy shit. Like, if you would see these numbers, you guys would be like, oh shit, I didn't know it was like this. I can understand where David's coming from. I think, obviously, there are situations where you get married, it doesn't work out. You don't hate each other. It just doesn't work out. But the woman did participate in your success. So your woman is owed something. Your ex-woman is owed something for helping you. So don't get that twisted. Like, if she was there for you, helping you build, she deserves something out of that pot. Anyway, I don't know why I went into this rant. Okay. I have no idea why I went into this rant. I don't know. I know that the nuclear family has been destroyed. Okay. Nobody believes in family and having kids and enjoying themselves. That concept has been ripped apart. Absolutely. Nobody wants to bring kids into this world now because this world's absolutely ape shit. So, like, a lot of things have been destroyed because of these narratives. Look at countries. Countries are incentivizing people to have kids. You got Trump coming out with Trump accounts. You got, Japan talking about they need more porn stars because there's not enough male porn. Like, you got, like, every country is telling you that they are low on people. But that's only because you have this current situation, the current setup is not incentivizing people to get together. That's it. It's not incentivizing. And a lot of people do not want to bring kids into this world. John Cena does not want to bring a kid into this world. 10 years ago, he did. Now he's like, I do not want to bring in a kid into this world. That's it. And that is the narrative everywhere. It's not about being masculine or shit like that. By the way, if you want to say masculine, think about it. A guy wants to have a son, right? That continues his legacy. Like, so I'm like, put all this shit that I just said in perspective. Everything that I said to you right now, I believe this is fact. I believe that my opinion is very fucking strong. And I hope in the next decade, we can go ahead and reverse the trend because this really sucks. You got 40-year-old people that are now crying, even on TikTok and YouTube, shit, I can't find somebody. Yeah, because they were taught to just go out there and have fun and party. That relationships aren't good. And now they're 40, 45, they want kids, they want a life. They want to build something. They can't find anybody. And they can't even get pregnant. That's the sad part. They can't even get pregnant now. Hey. Anyway, thank you very much. Depopulation, Cooper, for real. That everything that Bill Gates wanted, he has put in silently into effect with the rest of the elites. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to the show. It is 3:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back tomorrow, March 31st, Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till 2. This show is sponsored by Midnight, the title sponsor, Midnight. We also got Polymarket, the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand, and obviously the show. Cake Wallet, the most secure wallet that we have, one of the most secure wallets that we have in this industry. We'll have Vic on next month, beginning of the month. We'll go and talk about AI. We're going to talk about his wallet. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I want to get his perspective. And the People's Reserve, shout out to CJ. Shout out to the entire staff. Shout out to the entire team that is working to go ahead and allow you to use your Bitcoin or assets to obtain the dream, right? Which is to get a home. Use your Bitcoin as collateral. Use your Bitcoin as collateral. and not just sell it off and then watch that shit go to $1 million and you won't have none. Anyway, on that note, Vamonos! До свидания! I am out.